Welcome back. Next episode of the Sunbird boat floor. We're going to be laying in the thickened resin to get rid of all the gaps, and then maybe laying some fiberglass into here and strengthen it up and smooth everything out. And let's get started. Okay, another day, and I got all of the sides filled in, the centers, the cracks, all the seams filled in with the thickened resin. So what we're going to do now is just obviously sand it, knock all the those little peaks down, and get ready for to put fiberglass in here. Tab everything on the sides. I need to strengthen up around the ski locker, and let's get to sanding. Okay, I got all the sanding, all the peaks and stuff knocked down. Like I said, I don't have to sand this, to scuff all the surface. This was not coated with wax, so it's still a laminating that I can go right over the top of it with new resin. And just a side note, when I was mixing the thickened resin for all of the seams, you notice I was using one of these. It's a little paddle to help mix the resin, and I just coated my my drill with a plastic bag so I wouldn't get anything on it. This is what they look like when they're new, and they got a little 1/4-inch drive on there, so they go right into your impact driver or drill, whatever you want. And man, this thing here, when you're mixing up that thickened resin, man, it is pretty taxing on your fingers with those little, tongue depressors, popsicle sticks, or whatever they have, and sometimes you break a couple of them. But this thing here makes it very nice and easy for mixing large batches. I think I was mixing 10, 12 ounces at a time to do those, and man, this is the key. I'll drop a link down in the description. They say they're reusable. This stuff doesn't come off too easily, but I just, kept using it. Obviously, it just gets caked up, and I just kept using it, and it worked out fine. I didn't have any issues. They come in the listing that I got come in a box of 6, and this is the only one that I've used, and I mean it works out great. So if you're ever doing that, these little paddles for thickened resin, or if you're just mixing a large batch of resin, which I may end up using that because I'm going to mix out some big batches to put the 1708 down on the floor. So I may end up using these to help mix it. But we'll get to that next. I'm going to cut out some pieces, kind of position it in here, and then start laying out the resin. Okay, I got my piece of fiberglass cut and laid out over here, and I'm just going to pour some resin and wet it out. Okay, I'll let that harden up, and then do the front side. Okay, the back half has hardened up, and we can walk on it, and we can get to laying the resin for the front half. Okay, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I'm going to let this obviously harden up at the back, and then I got to go in and tab in around the edges, and then it'll be running a gel coat or resin with wax to cure everything. And hopefully we'll get to that next. Again, thanks for watching.